Very highly competitive retail brokerages have permeated the entire world, except for one large continent, Africa. Would you go there? Would you set up a brokerage? Let's take a look. An untouched continent doesn't really exist these days in this industry, but I can think of two. One, I don't think there's any possibility of any penetration of electronic trading, that's South America. But Africa most certainly has potential. We've seen some companies succeed there. It's just had a bit of influx, but still largely untouched. Would you go there?
In terms of Africa itself, you have to remember, Africa's been exploited by the colonialists for many years. Hundreds of years. So you've got their continent that's rich in minerals.
That's
you've got
right.
copper, gold, silver, tin. You've got oil.
Massive natural resources.
You've got all other types of potential farming resources, but unfortunately, due to the lack of infrastructure, you have many years of famine.
Yes.
So you have starving populations.
Yes.
However, within Africa, there are some countries that are a little bit more developed than others. For example, you've got South Africa.
Well, that's not comparable
which is
to the
the
rest.
phenomenal financial structure.
It completely is.
And then you've got Nigeria, where you can't
Which
even
is
spend more than £50 outside.
That's right, capital
Nigeria.
controls, and also varying prices between the naira, the local currency, even inside the actual
I think you've got
country
four
itself.
levels, if
They
I'm
have
correct.
indeed.
You've got the street level, you've got the exchange level,
right.
you've got the bank level, and then you've got some sort of
Well,
other.
then they have this one where only privileged people who are close to the government get it. But yes, the street level, there are several hundred what they call forex bureaus, which are not forex trading, it's deliverable, it's exchange in high streets.
Right.
Which offer a different rate to the banks, and the government's trying to close them all down now, so it's a bit of a mess.
But I tell you what the system is with Africa at the moment. Africa, everything is done by the phone.
Yes, it is.
So what they do is they have the telecommunications suppliers or providers, and you have an account with that telecommunications provider, and you can pay for everything from your phone. Now, what you do regarding electronic trading, they haven't got the infrastructure set up, but you can trade or gamble even from your phone.
Yes, you can.
Put on a $1 or $5 trade via your phone.
The problem with desktop trading there is that the traditional internet service keeps cutting off. I'm talking about Nigeria specifically. It's not reliable. It keeps cutting off all the time. There's lots of power outages and lots of internet outages. So therefore, well, I've known over the years many companies that have got a Nigerian client base, usually through a local representative. Some companies have set up their own offices there, like Blackwell Global, who did really well there in Nigeria. Also, back in the day when Alpari had several offices, they had a Nigerian office. What they used to do is bring everybody to the office and do a seminar, and then people would trade from the office. It isn't like other places where people are trading all the time, because they don't have the ability. There's no internet reliability. So what they do is they wait until they go to a specific trading seminar and they do it there for a few hours, and then they don't do it again until they go back there again.
Right. But
So it's high touch.
But I did try that route.
Did you?
Many times on getting traders to come into an established office.
Oh yes, City Index.
That's right. And whereby they would trade from the office. However, the FCA and compliance were not happy with that system at all, because they were afraid of employee input into the trading habits of the trader.
Yes, indeed.
So,
which constitutes financial advice.
Correct. And therefore you're in breach of the execution-only contracts.
That's right, you are, yes.
Now, going back to Nigeria, for example, and just going back to Africa, one of the things that I've done recently is I've set up a contract with a firm in South Sudan. However, South Sudan's a new jurisdiction, by the way.
It is new, yes. 5 years old.
It's post-civil war, it's very dangerous jurisdiction. What will happen most likely is that the governments of the African states will become a partner with the supplier, like in China, but not with the same restrictions. In other words, if you want something to advance in Africa, get a government department to be your partner.
That's the best way.
And they get revenue from that trade, and then as a result, the government authority will allow you the flow and the path in order to create that business.
I knew we talked recently about introducing brokers, something which is a big subject. I've lost contact with him now to a large extent, but I knew for many years an IB in Nigeria who did just that.
Right.
He was a very educated, dignified, professional guy, and he had a company there which provided educational services and trading services and brokerage accounts to all kinds of different managed accounts and self-determined. What he did was have an office in Lagos which was backed by government authorities. Otherwise, it's too unpredictable.
That's correct. But you've also got another situation in Africa. Many jurisdictions that are on the AML red list, that are jurisdictions you cannot do any financial trades whatsoever.
And you can't transfer because of the AML red list. The sanctions on the transfer of money means you can't do electronic transfers from a Nigerian bank account to an overseas account,
Correct.
which means you need a local bank account.
Correct. So one of the things I do is I advise firms how to get local traders to deposit money locally and get that money reconciled back to the host company within the jurisdiction that they have.
That's the right way to do it.
But Africa itself, if you look at all the countries in Africa, it's a huge potential, but the infrastructure is weak.
It is indeed, except for in South Africa. And actually that's an area which I think we're going to see some really, there's already a good IB network there. There are some technology firms there that are very well respected Forex technology and analytics firms that are based in Johannesburg. So we're going to find that out for ourselves this year, because I shall be hosting a conference there for the South African Forex industry. So we'll do some research during that particular time.
Very nice.
Then we'll see whether we'll go to Africa or not.
Thank you very much.
Very interesting. Thanks for joining us. Mir Walensky.
Pleasure.
Mir Walensky, CEO of Walensky Financial Group.
Thank you very much.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks. I'm Andrew Sachs-McLeod, CEO of Finance Feeds. Thank you very much for joining us at Dukas Copy TV here in Geneva, Switzerland. See you next time. Goodbye.